Many people think that in order to believe the Bible, you have to throw your brain away and let go of all the logic and intelligence you have. But that's not true at all. Today I want to show you 4 powerful predictions the Bible made that came true. Most people have no idea about them, but it proves that the Bible is the inspired Word of God. You want to know what I mean? Let's go right in. What's going on, friends? Welcome back. I'm excited you're here, and my wife and I are super happy that we can make regular videos again. We want to really thank you for your support. The 4 predictions I want to share with you go way back in time, some even as far as 2,700 years. And the reason why I love them is because you really just have to go to Wikipedia or Google and just fact check them, and you can quickly see how they exactly came true, just the way the Bible predicted it. Here's the first one. The Bible said that a man named Cyrus would capture Babylon. Okay, so this is pretty crazy. Isaiah was a prophet. He was serving around the time 700 BC, and he got a vision from God that there would be a man named Cyrus who would come and capture Babylon 160 years later. Isaiah 45 verses 1-3 says, "Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have held, to subdue nations before him. I will go before you and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of bronze and cut the bars of iron. I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, the Lord, who call you by your name, am the God of Israel." And then verse 13, it says, "I have raised Cyrus up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city and let my exiles go free, not for price nor reward." So God calls Cyrus by name before he was born, and then he says he will be the guy who will let the exiles go free. Who were those exiles? It's pretty easy. Just 100 years later, after this was written, the Jewish nation was in exile in Babylon. It was the Jewish nation that was set free. But I find the second prediction that came true even more fascinating. Isaiah 13 and Jeremiah 51 predicted that once Babylon would fall, it would never be inhabited again. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldean pride, will be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It will never be inhabited, nor will it be settled from generation to generation, nor will the Arabian pitch tents there, nor will the shepherds make their sheepfolds there. Babylon shall become a heap, a dwelling place for jackals, an astonishment and a hissing, without an inhabitant. Now this is really crazy because it has been 2,500 years and Babylon has never been fully rebuilt or inhabited again. The most recent and probably famous example is when Saddam Hussein tried to do it. It was during the Iran-Iraq war in the 1980s, and Saddam Hussein was a big fan of Nebuchadnezzar for some reason. I'm not sure why he wasn't a fan of Nebuchadnezzar when he was converted and became a Christian. He was a fan because of the wars that Babylon did and all of that stuff, and so he was like, I want to rebuild Babylon. But it didn't go very far. He built a palace, he tried to build some walls, but that was about it. The city was never populated again. So now here's why I find this super fascinating. In Europe and the Middle East, you've always had kings beating each other up and cities being destroyed and rebuilt again. I mean, it happened over and over again. And to put the claim out there that one city would be destroyed and be destroyed forever and never be inhabited again, that's a pretty bold claim. And then to realize that for the past 2,500 years, this has been the case, I mean, that's pretty amazing. And if you think, oh, that's just happenstance, let me share the third prediction with you. Egypt, one of the oldest, most educated, and most powerful nations of all time, disappeared from the world stage. And before it happened, the Bible predicted that it would never be a world power again. God told the prophet Ezekiel, I will bring back the captives of Egypt and cause them to return to the land of Pathros, to the land of their origin, and there they shall be a lowly kingdom. It shall be the lowliest of kingdoms. It shall never again exalt itself above the nations, for I will diminish them so that they will not rule over the nations anymore. Now for us, this might not be a big deal because Egypt is a small country today in the northeastern part of Africa, but this was written almost 2,600 years ago. Back then, Egypt was a force to be reckoned with. It was a world power. But God had said, I will make the land waste and all that is in it. I, the Lord, have spoken. I will also destroy the idols and cause the images to cease from naught. There shall no longer be princes from the land of Egypt. I will put fear in the land of Egypt. Now think about this. The Nile River, the longest river in the world that goes through Egypt, is drying up today. Also, the gods of ancient Egypt are not considered real gods anymore today. Back then, millions of people bowed down before those idols. And today, no one really cares anymore. Egypt lost its power, the river is drying up, and the idols are destroyed. Is all of that random coincidence? I don't think so. Now, the last prediction I want to share with you comes from the New Testament. Paul wrote it to his friend Timothy almost 2,000 years ago. He said, in the last days, perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. I believe that we're living in the last days of Earth's history. The Bible clearly shows this, and I've already made videos about it. So Paul said that people would have lower moral standards and our society would be less spiritual. I mean, look at all these graphs and statistics all showing one thing: it's going down, even here in America. Now, I have a background in classical music. I grew up playing the piano and I was listening to classical music all my life. And you can see this trend even on a large scale when you look at the music of the last 500 years. Because music, just like any form of art, reflects what society is thinking about, is concerned about, is passionate about. In the 1700s, most music was spiritual. It was about God, about His creation, about His relationship with us. Then over the next 200 years, more secular music was composed. And when the 20th century came, humanity was in shock because of the wars and all the evil that was out there. You can see a reflection of that when you look at contemporary art and music. I mean, today we have all sorts of crazy and wild stuff. I mean, compare this with Johann Sebastian Bach. He wrote all of his music for God. His music was biblical. He put at the very beginning of each composition he made initials. JJ, that stands for Jesu Juva. It means Jesus help me. He had that at the beginning of each composition, and then at the end of it, when the performance was over, you know what he wrote? For every single piece, he had the initials SDG, which stand for Soli Deo Gloria, to the glory of God alone. That was the mindset with which Johann Sebastian Bach was writing his music. Now compare that with the #1 Billboard song of 2024. I'm gonna read some lyrics here for you. Now, he's thinking about me every night. Oh, is it that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know. Like, that has nothing to do with God. Even all atheists can agree that spirituality has gone down over the years, and the Bible predicted it close to 2,000 years ago. What's your favorite prediction out of the 4? Put it in the comments, I want to know. Is it Cyrus being called by name? Is it Babylon never being inhabited again? Is it Egypt who lost its influence on the world stage? Or is it the fact that spirituality has gone down and the Bible predicted it? Here's another video you should check out. I think you'll like this one.